Hello, HSE professionals. Welcome back to hsebox.com, where we discuss everything related to health, safety, and environmental management. Today's topic is critical to maintaining safety in workplaces with hazardous equipment: how to implement a lockout and tagout program. Implementing this safety program can prevent countless injuries and even fatalities by ensuring that machinery and equipment are properly shut off before any maintenance or servicing work begins. This video will guide you through each step of creating an effective lockout and tagout program in your workplace. So stay with us until the end to make sure you don't miss any important details. By the way, have you checked out our new training courses on Udemy? No? Click the link in the description. Let's start. What is lockout-tagout? Lockout and tagout, also known as control of hazardous energy, is a safety procedure designed to protect employees from hazardous energy sources while they perform maintenance or repair work. When machines or equipment are in use, they may contain energy that could be harmful if released unexpectedly. This energy can come from electrical, mechanical, hydraulic, pneumatic, or chemical sources, and can lead to severe injuries such as amputations, burns, and even death if proper precautions are not taken. The lockout part of the process involves physically locking the machinery's power source in the off position, while the tagout part involves placing a tag on the machine indicating that it should not be operated. Together, these measures ensure that equipment cannot be accidentally turned back on while someone is working on it. Now, let's jump into the step-by-step process of how you can implement a lockout and tagout program at your facility. Step 1. Develop a written lockout and tagout policy. The first step in implementing a lockout and tagout program is to develop a comprehensive written policy. This policy should detail all the steps required to control hazardous energy sources in your workplace. It needs to cover specific machines and equipment, how to lock and tag each piece of machinery, and how to safely de-energize and verify that the machine is no longer a hazard. Begin by conducting a risk assessment for all your equipment and machines. Identify which machinery poses the most significant hazards and require lockout procedures. In your written policy, include detailed instructions for each piece of equipment that outlines the steps to safely isolate the energy source and lock it out. For example, let's say you have a large industrial press in your workplace. Your policy might explain that the press must be disconnected from its electrical supply, hydraulic fluid lines must be drained, and a lock must be placed on the control panel to prevent accidental startup. Once the policy is in place, it will serve as a reference for all employees. Step 2. Train employees. Training your employees on the lockout and tagout procedures is critical. Everyone in the workplace needs to understand how lockout and tagout work, why it is essential, and how to follow the specific procedures for the equipment they work with. Training should be tailored to two primary groups of employees: authorized employees and affected employees. Authorized employees are those who are responsible for locking out the machines before performing maintenance or repairs. These employees should receive in-depth, hands-on training where they are shown how to properly lock and tag the equipment and de-energize it. For instance, if an employee is working on electrical circuits, they should be trained to shut off the power, lock the circuit breaker, and verify that no energy is present. Affected employees are those who work near the machines but are not involved in the maintenance process. These employees should be trained to recognize lockout and tagout devices and understand that they must never attempt to start machines that have been locked and tagged out. Here's a question for you. How does your current workplace handle training for hazardous energy control? And do you feel that all employees understand the importance of these procedures? Let me know in the comments below. Step 3. Identify Energy isolation points. One of the most important steps in implementing a lockout and tagout program is identifying the energy isolation points on all equipment. These are the points where energy can be cut off to ensure the equipment is safe for work. This could be a switch, a valve, or a circuit breaker, depending on the type of energy the machine uses. In your facility, walk through the process for each piece of equipment and make sure you know where the isolation points are located. If the machinery uses electrical energy, the isolation point may be the electrical disconnect switch. For hydraulic equipment, it could be a valve that cuts off the flow of fluid. It's critical to know where these points are and to verify that they effectively cut off the energy supply. Once these points have been identified, clearly mark or label them in the workplace to make it easy for employees to locate and use them when necessary. This step helps streamline the lockout and tagout process and reduces the risk of mistakes. Step 4. Provide the right lockout and tagout devices. Your lockout and tagout program will only be effective if you have the proper devices in place to lock out the energy sources. These devices should be durable, standardized, and capable of withstanding workplace conditions. Each lock and tag must be uniquely identifiable to the employee who installed it, which means that no two locks should be the same, and only the employee who applied the lock should have the key. For example, electrical lockout devices can be used to lock switches and circuit breakers in the off position. Valve lockouts are used for hydraulic and pneumatic energy sources to prevent fluid flow. Tags should accompany each lock, indicating the name of the employee who locked out the machine, the date, and the reason for the lockout. Tags should not be relied upon as the only method of control, as they do not physically prevent the equipment from being started. However, they provide crucial information and act as a visual deterrent to prevent the unauthorized operation of the equipment. Step 5. Lockout and verify. Once the machinery is locked and tagged out, the next critical step is to verify that the equipment is fully de-energized before starting any maintenance or repair work. This is the step that many workplaces overlook, but it's one of the most important for ensuring worker safety. Verification involves trying to start the machine or activate the energy source to confirm that it has been successfully isolated. For example, if an electrical circuit has been locked out, the employee should attempt to turn on the machine from the control panel. If the machine does not start, the employee can safely begin working on the machine. If the machine does start, then the lockout was not successful, and the process needs to be revisited. This step is critical because even if a machine appears to be locked out, energy can still be present in some cases. For example, stored hydraulic pressure could cause a machine to move unexpectedly, even if the electrical power is shut off. Verifying that all forms of energy are isolated ensures that the machine is safe to work on. Step 6. Remove the lockout and tagout devices. Once the maintenance or repair work is complete, it's time to remove the lockout and tagout devices. Only the employee who applied the devices should remove them. This ensures that the person responsible for locking out the equipment is the one who verifies that it is safe to return to service. Before removing the devices, the employee must ensure that all tools and equipment have been removed from the area and that all employees are safely out of harm's way. Once it's confirmed that the area is safe, the lockout devices can be removed and the equipment can be restarted. Implementing a lockout and tagout program is critical for keeping your employees safe while working with hazardous equipment. By following these steps, developing a written policy, training employees, identifying energy isolation points, providing the proper lockout devices, verifying energy isolation, and safely removing the lockout devices, you can significantly reduce the risk of serious injuries in your workplace. We hope you found this guide on how to implement a lockout and tagout program helpful. Let us know in the comments if you have any specific challenges in implementing this program at your workplace, and feel free to suggest any topics for future videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and visit hsebox.com for more resources on health, safety, and environmental management. Stay safe, and see you in the next video.